From sending literal death threats over losing a boxing match to picking a fight with a referee who was just trying to help, there's a reason why Conor McGregor is so controversial. And today, I'm talking all about it, starting with the infamous bus fight. No one, and I mean no one, will ever forget this insane bus fight McGregor caused. It all went down in April 2018. It all started in April 2018 when McGregor's former pal Artem Lobov had a beef with Khabib Nurmagomedov and his crew. The Russian and his friends cornered Lobov before the UFC 223 event in New York, which didn't sit well with the Irishman. 2 days later, McGregor decided to get revenge during a promotional event for the show, headlined by a lightweight title fight between the Eagle and Al La Quinta. Now, McGregor is no stranger to drama, but this was something else entirely. He and a group of about 20 men decided to pay Nurmagomedov a visit on a bus carrying him and other fighters back to their hotel. As you do, right? Well, that was until McGregor ran up to the bus and threw a dolly at its window, shattering it and injuring Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg. The two were injured so badly that they had to be pulled from their UFC 223 fights. I mean, seriously, who throws a dolly? Apparently, McGregor does. He was later arrested and pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct. McGregor had to perform 5 days of community service and undergo anger management as part of his plea agreement. And I mean, he definitely needed the latter. But that's not where the story ends. Fast forward to December 2022, and McGregor finally settled a lawsuit from Chiesa, who had been seeking damages for 4 years. I can only imagine the legal bill for that one. Chiesa had accused McGregor of negligence, along with negligent infliction of emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress, assault, and battery. Yikes. Since McGregor had already been in a bus fight, it shouldn't be surprising that he's also been in a bottle fight with Nate Diaz. Back in 2015, he suffered a shocking defeat at the hands of Nate Diaz, but he was all set for a rematch at UFC 202 in August 2016. Now, McGregor was already a superstar at this point, so he decided to make his fans wait for him during a pre-fight press conference. Classic McGregor move, right? But things got even more interesting when Diaz got fed up and stormed out of the building. And this is when McGregor famously shouted these words, "You'll do nothing. Not one of you will do anything. Get the F out of here." And then out of nowhere, water bottles started flying. Diaz's team began throwing them at McGregor, who decided to throw a whole table's worth of bottles and cans back at them. It was like a scene out of a WWE match or something. The Nevada Athletic Commission wasn't too happy about this little incident, and they fined McGregor $150,000, ordered him to participate in an anti-bullying campaign, and even made him do 50 hours of community service. But even after all the community service and fines, it doesn't seem like McGregor learned a thing, because he went and caused trouble yet again. This time around with a referee. We all know the notorious UFC fighter can be a bit temperamental, to put it lightly. But back in 2017, he took his antics to a whole new level at a Bellator event in Dublin. Here's what happened. McGregor was there to support his buddy, Charlie Ward, who was fighting that night. Ward landed a massive punch at the end of the first round, and the ref, Mark Goddard, stepped in to stop the fight and give Ward the win. McGregor was over the moon and jumped into the cage to celebrate with his friend. But here's where things get interesting. Goddard wasn't sure if the round had actually ended yet, so he told McGregor to leave the cage. But McGregor did not take kindly to being told what to do. He charged at Goddard and shoved him in the back, all while Goddard was trying to check on Ward's opponent, who was still recovering from the knockout blow. As you can imagine, chaos ensued. People were trying to break up the scuffle, but McGregor was not backing down. He even went so far as to slap a member of the Bellator staff. Not cool, dude. Of course McGregor later apologized on social media, but let's be real, the damage was already done. While it was pretty trashy of McGregor to push around a referee who'd done nothing wrong, it's nothing compared to what he said to Dustin Poirier. These two have quite the history together, and it's not a very good one, to say the least. Back in 2014, McGregor and Poirier had their first fight. and it was something people still remember to this day. McGregor knocked out Poirier in the first round after verbally destroying him before the fight. Ouch. Fast forward to January 2021 and the Diamond got his chance at revenge. The build-up to the rematch was crazy, with McGregor even pledging $500,000 to Poirier's charity. How nice, right? Wrong. This is Conor McGregor after all. After Poirier scored a second-round stoppage win, McGregor failed to cough up his promised donation, and let's just say Poirier was not happy about it. He accused McGregor of not following through on his promise, which led to a heated exchange. Things only got worse from there. McGregor and Poirier were booked to fight again at UFC 264, and the buildup was intense. Unfortunately, the Notorious suffered a gnarly leg injury during the fight and Poirier won in an inconclusive manner. But that didn't stop him from gloating in front of his injured opponent. And then came the death threats. McGregor fired off some seriously disturbing comments about Poirier and his family, saying things like he'd kill them in their sleep and that it isn't over. Now, that's enough to scare anyone off. His rivalry with Poirier has always been pretty bad though, just like his beef with Khabib Nurmagomedov. These two have a beef older than some people. But finally, they were scheduled to fight at UFC 229, and boy did they deliver. The lead up to the fight was as bitter as a morning coffee with no sugar, and they carried that animosity into the octagon. They traded punches and kicks for 4 rounds, and then Khabib got the submission win. But that's not where the story ends. Because after the fight, Nurmagomedov lost his mind and climbed the octagon wall to confront McGregor's teammate Dylan Dennis. And of course, a full-on brawl erupted as members of both teams went at it like cats and dogs. McGregor even got in on the action, throwing punches at anyone who dared to come near him. As a result of the chaos, Khabib got suspended for 9 months and had to pay $500,000 for his part in the brawl. McGregor also got a 6-month suspension and a $50,000 fine. And you thought your parking ticket was expensive. Despite the punishment, the hatred between these two still runs deep. They occasionally throw shade at each other on social media, but it's unlikely they'll ever meet in the octagon again. Khabib retired from fighting in 2020 and now he's coaching fighters like a boss. McGregor, on the other hand, is still fighting, but his glory days seem to be behind him. In the end, this fight had everything you could want in a UFC match: drama, action, and a whole lot of bad blood. And that's exactly why Conor McGregor is so controversial.